Hello, in this video, we are going to measure some key performance indicators like throughput, connections per second of different types of cloud instances. For measuring cloud performance, we will use the product Cyperf. So this is our download site of Cyperf, and you can see you have various options. So I'll use cloud, and let's choose Amazon AWS for this particular demo. I will do the complete deployment using the templates and scripts provided to me. So I'll use CloudFormation template because I'm just measuring cloud performance in AWS, and CloudFormation templates are the fastest way to do it. So this takes me to a GitHub link, and you can see there I am choosing this controller and agent pair deployment. And you can see this is the topology. I have a controller and two Cyperf agents that will be installed in two different cloud instances, which we'll use to measure performance. So I'm going to download this JSON file, which is basically the CloudFormation template, and upload it into my AWS account. So you can see that file, new vpc.json. So now we'll give it a name and give all the configurations needed for it to deploy three instances of one for the Cyperf controller and two for the agents. One will be client and the second will be server. So I'll give an ownership, my username, fill up the availability zones. I'm using Ohio, US East, and this is important. So for this particular AWS KPI, I will use the C5 and 9x large instance and my SSH key and some subnets, test subnet, management subnets. You can change it per your need, and the security group so that I have my own public IP that I can access. So the template has been started to be deployed. I've named it Perf in Cloud, and I can see the instances are coming up. So there are three instances. One would be the Cyperf controller, the UI, and one of them will be the client agent and the other will be the server agent. And both client and server agents are running in C5 and 9x large. I'll take the public key of the controller and I'll log in. It takes a few seconds, or at least sometimes a few minutes, for the controller to install all the software. Meanwhile, what I can do is I can set up my licensing servers and everything else. So once I know it's ready, when I see all this configuration coming in, and this is when I will first apply the license that probably we have got already, and then I will go to the browse config because I already have the templates here. So I'll choose the Cyperf cloud configs because this is where I'll find some C5 and 9x large templates. You can see other cloud templates as well, like Azure or GCP. I'll choose this pre-canned configuration. Once I click it, a completely cloud optimized test session will be created for me that would have all that is needed to do my connections per second test. So you can see this is my test config. This is a CPS config. So you see this 300,000 optimized for C5 and 9x large, and HTTP traffic probably a small page. Because the entire template was deployed by CloudFormation templates, I already have these two agents connected to my UI, everything ready to go. So I'll put one of them as client, the other as server, and you can see we have already also tagged them appropriately. So this is a very simple loopback test. I will start the test, and so I fast forwarded the test for a few minutes so that we can see how the results look like. And you can see in the connections rate stat, we are already reaching 300,000 connections. The goal seeking adjusts itself to reach that heights is all stateful HTTP based connections that's happening between two C5 and 9x large. So let's extrapolate this for other configurations. So let's do throughput now. Again, I will go to the same browse config, go to my Cyperf cloud configs, and look for the pre-canned HTTP throughput optimized config so that I can run a throughput test. So I got that. I opened it. So this is again for C5 and 9x large, which I think at the most can do 50 gigs. I'll go through the same steps again, put one instance as client, the other agent instance as server. So these are the C5 and 9x large. Start the test again. Nothing else needs to be done. The application and everything else has been, including the TCP buffers, have all been optimized to get the max performance, and fast forward it, and we can now see how the traffic goes through to achieve the objective of 50 gigs. So let's give it a few seconds or so, and we should see. So there is the spike that I was talking about, and it should reach close to 48.9, 48.8 application throughput. But if you go to the layer 2 kind of throughput, you will see we're already reaching somewhere close to the 50 Gbps, which is the network limitation for C5 and 9x large. Now, this is a test that was demonstrated just with AWS, but with Cyperf, you can extrapolate it to literally any other clouds. We have pre-canned templates for several clouds for CPS, throughput, concurrency, but if you have other clouds, you can extrapolate the same for them as well. Thanks a lot for listening.